told you, everyone. Every fictional character and every piece of literature is being canceled. Pepe Le Pew from Warner Brothers is being canceled because of liberals and snowflakes. So Pepe Le Pew isn't going to be in the second Space Jam movie, and this has been known for over a year, but it's resurfaced recently after the Lola Bunny being less sexualized in this upcoming movie. And after everything such as the Mr. Potato Head rebranding, as well as 6 Dr. Seuss books that most people can't name off the top of their heads not being published. And now apparently people are freaking out about Pepe Le Pew not being featured in the new Space Jam movie. Now, I will admit, I'm a little bit mixed about how I feel about this. Not in the sense of him being canceled. I think it's ridiculous, but more of how Warner Brothers is handling it. Because I think they could have handled this better. Let me explain. It's not like they're just saying like, get over it, we're canceling it. Apparently there was issues within the production of Space Jam 2 where they filmed a live action scene that was supposed to have Pepe Le Pew. And then they had a new director who just took it out entirely. I'll explain this from here. This is from a storytelling aspect, not a culture aspect. I think people reactionaries are just being really dumb. I can't believe it. I know, very controversial statement. So, citing from a website called The Hollywood Reporter, not that one, from Deadline, which is reported in Hollywood since 2006. I don't know how credible this website is, but it goes into further explanation about this new Space Jam movie, saying that he won't be showing up in the upcoming theatrical sequel on July 16th. And this culture or this character has had a lot of negativity thrown his way. Especially there was a column that came out in the New York Times. I think this was in 2019 by Charles M. Below, and he slammed the character for adding rape culture, and I can see that. A what is it? Quote: "The Pepe Le Pew character will likely be a thing of the past across all media. Warner Brothers also has no current TV series featuring the skunk, and there is no plans to have him appear on Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny Builders, Tiny Toons, Looniversary, or future projects," sources confirmed to Deadline. Yeah, this character is going to be a thing of the past. I mean, it's a skunk from the 1950s who was on the search for love with forceful sexual advances toward a cat that happened to get a white stripe on her. It's very much a thing of the past, and Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, we don't have plans with him." I don't blame them. However, I do think the scene in Space Jam 2. Let's see. Let me look for what was filmed. So what happened was, it was reported in 2019. Director Terrence Lance left the production, and Michael, let's see, Malcolm D. Lee took over. And this scene with Pepe Le Pew was eliminated under his direction. So here's the scene that was supposed to follow. Quote, "Pepe was set to appear in a black and white Casablanca-like Rick's Cafe sequence. Pepe, played a bartender, starts hitting on a woman at the bar played by Santo. He begins kissing her arm, which she pulls back, then slamming Pepe into the chair next to hers. She then pours her drink on Pepe and slams him hard, sending him spinning in a stool, which is then stopped by LeBron James's hand. James and Bugs Bunny, are looking for Lola, and Pepe knows her whereabouts. Pepe then tells the guy that Penelope Cat has filed a restraining order against him. James makes a remark in the script that Pepe can't grab other tunes without their consent." Unquote. Now, I think this should have been kept in the movie. I mean, it's up for debate, obviously. I think, for a younger audience and a new generation, this could be handled well. And frankly, even for older generations who are a fan of the original 1996 Space Jam with Michael Jordan. Just because it would have sent a good message and a good precedent, like, hey, you can't force someone to do something. And I gotta say, if you watch the old cartoons, Pepe Le Pew is very aggressive with his sexual advances. And even the daughter of Pepe Le Pew is okay with scrapping the character. This character is very much for his time, and I think he was originally created for adults in the 30s and 1940s when like having those transitions into actual movies at the time. He's a very dated character. But, people freak out because Warner Brothers is overtly saying, hey, we don't have plans with him. And because of that, it must be cancel culture. It's got to be cancel culture. If they say it overtly, it's canceled. As opposed to saying it covertly, which is basically not saying it at all and just letting it happen. I mean, no one freaked out about Bucky Buzzard. Why isn't he in the new Space Jam movie? That would have been cool. Having LeBron James be like, Bucky, here's the ball, and he's holding onto the ball, looking at it. And he's just like, Bucky, you gotta shoot. You gotta shoot it for the sake of the universe. And he's just like, nope, 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 nope. And then they lose, and then Earth is lost forever. That's excellent writing. Sorry, I find that more funny than it probably came off as, but just the nope, 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 nope. I would love to see that on the basketball court. But, you haven't seen Bucky Buzzard being featured in literal years. But it's another non-issue. What do you know? Another non-culture war issue when there's a pandemic going on. Anyway, looking at Business Insider, they actually go into a news segment. So Fox host Maria Bartiromo can't get a guest to agree that Pepe Le Pew is the latest victim of cancel culture gone overboard. I thought it was the left wing that played victim. Pepe Le Pew is a victim of a company that can admit that the character is dated. Originally voiced by Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices. Very impressive. But so Fox Business Network host Maria Bartiromo on Tuesday struggled to get a guest to agree with her that the cartoon character Pepe Le Pew was the latest example of cancel culture gone awry. Cancel culture takes on cartoons, according to her. Bugs Bunny better watch out. They're coming for him. Dude, Bugs Bunny is pretty progressive. You know the amount of times that Bugs Bunny has cross-dressed and it's just been acceptable in 1930s cartoons? I'm stretching this. I'm being very hyperbolic. No one's going for Bugs Bunny. Give me a break. But, you know what? I just lost it. So, it was an interview with Wall Street Journal writer John Hilsenrath. He says, Maria, I'm watching those videos you have of this. I always used to think that cartoon was funny, but he's kind of grabbing and groping in ways that are totally unacceptable today. I kind of think norms changed over time, and maybe it's time for Pepe Le Pew to beat it. And then she fights back, saying, But I mean, are we going overboard here? Dr. Seuss, Mr. Potato Head? Come on, John. Dr. Seuss is being so canceled with those books that weren't grossing nearly as much. They were making no profit. No one even knows what the books are, and they had racial undertones that the company itself made a decision to just say, hey, we're not publishing it. And Mr. Potato Head, Hasbro, just saying, like, hey, we're rebranding. The culture war is such a joke, and it's no wonder that conservatives lose this all the time. I mean, there's speculation that it's linked toward that column that I said earlier, but there's no direct link to that. There is a time, but you've had comedians back in the early 2000s, such as Dave Chappelle, who have overtly said, in a comedy skit, of course, so take it for what it's worth, but he referred to the skunk as a rapist. Dave Chappelle, the most he's pretty anti-cancel culture and pretty not PC. But I mean, he said that in early 2000, and I'm a huge fan of Dave Chappelle. Even if I disagree with some of his current stand up, I still think he's hilarious. But you even have Democratic Representative Hakeem Jeffries, who exists. He put his own insight about this. He said, House Democrats are the party of crushing the coronavirus and providing relief to everyday Americans. All right, the latter half of that sentence. Whew. Yeah, not going to get into that, but they have been, at least Joe Biden has been very on top of it with crushing coronavirus. But this last part that he says, House Republicans are the party of fake outrage as it relates to Dr. Seuss. I can't disagree with that. They're canceling Dr. Seuss. Now Pepe Le Pew, the rapist skunk, who made unwanted sexual advances that don't relate to modern day culture, probably didn't back then either, but it was a lot more accepted in the day because men were in charge, especially white men. Can't believe it. But okay, sorry, I need to clarify. I'm looking at this from a storytelling perspective, and like I said, I think Warner Brothers could have handled this just a little bit better. I think they should have kept that scene. I think it would have had a lot more impact into the modern day and being like, hey, you can't do those things. You cannot make unwanted sexual advantages, no matter how much you're in the pursuit of love. Got to restrict yourself because that's not okay. Like that would have been fine. I don't know if it would relate to the new generation. And even if it doesn't, I think that's okay. It's okay to have that scene. And either way, there's going to be some people being like, oh, the scene is really controversial. Ben Shapiro. Scene is, they made this really controversial. Like, it's a thing of the past. Why do they have to address it now? Like, everyone knows it shouldn't be happening now. Well, apparently not. People are outraged about a fictional skunk. And to which the company said, hey, we don't have plans with him. I mean, it would be one thing if they can adapt the character to the modern day, but even then you have to think about the precedent that sets. That part is a lot more nuanced, in my opinion. Though, it's not like Warner Brothers handled it terribly. It's just, you have a lot of victims you have a lot of people who have been known to be victims of sexual advantages. Let me actually look at the article from Deadline again. So Santo was upset, according to her spokesperson. So she's been a victim of sexual harassment. Many women have been, and I think that would have been a good message for anyone who's been sexually harassed. So I think that should have been kept in, but overall, I don't see outrage in the company saying like Pepe Le Pew is just a little bit dated. And it's not even a disrespect toward Mel Blanc. It's not like he was forced to do the character. And it's not like they pitched it to him where it's just like, hey, the skunk is borderline racist. And Mel Blanc was just like, I'll do it. It was just probably more of like, hey, it's a skunk who's looking for love. Can you make him French and over the top and go mwah, 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 kissing arms and stuff? And he's just like, yeah, I get paid for it. So, why, we're in a pandemic. There's more important things, but apparently the culture war and wanting to keep a sexual harasser skunk in a movie is a big deal now too. And they wanted, what was it? It was such a ridiculous story. I didn't read it, but wasn't it they wanted Lola Bunny to be sexualized like she was in 1996? If she was, I don't remember that movie. I've never gone back and been like, what's a good movie? Space Jam. Now that I say it, I borderline want to watch it. Anyway, now that the momentum's rolling, notice that reactionaries are speaking a lot more about this. And like I don't know if I said this earlier. I forgot, honestly. But I saw this at first on Fox 5 San Diego's website. And they're like, oh, it's happening. All the while, every other article has been like, Yeah, this has been known for like a year, but it's resurfacing. And a lot of it is due to the media getting outraged because right now, cancel culture, it's getting a lot of views. It's getting a lot of views. So media is really profiting off of it. And reactionaries are going into it. They don't know that they're perpetuating it. This is such a non issue, but they're letting it be an issue. And the media is going to keep rolling with it. I'm telling you, Tucker Carlson, he's getting your views with it. And you know what? I've been getting views with it too. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I don't like going over cancel culture stuff that much, but I like pointing out stupidity when it's at its most stupid. This cancel culture thing is ridiculous because no one talks about cancel culture when it involves like a Texas teacher being pro-Palestine, but she's fired for being pro-Palestine. That's a whole different subject that I have to get into another day if anyone is interested. But hey, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe, comment, give this video a like, do whatever. I have to shamelessly plug or nothing's gonna happen. So till next time, next video, I'm gonna talk about why I'm on the left. All right, let's do it.